Well, at the time, I was living in Darwin with my wife. I was working as a public servant in Darwin. I had also worked in Alice Springs and Katherine at various times. At the particular time when I was diagnosed, I had been suffering with pain in my lower back and legs. I was also a secretary of a rugby league club, so I was actively involved there on weekends. But the pain got to me. I was going to a GP and got me onto acupuncture to try and relieve me of the pain. He thought it was nerve damage. And eventually, after many months, he decided he could do nothing else for me, so he sent me to a surgeon, orthopaedic surgeon. He immediately x-rayed my lower back and saw a shadow and said, "I believe I know what that was. That is," confirmed what I thought it was multiple myeloma, which I knew nothing about. A bit of shock hearing that it was cancer, but I knew nothing about multiple myeloma. I had no idea what that was. And he just explained it was something in the bone, in my bones.
Did he use the word cancer? Or?
He did.
Yes.
He did, as a form of cancer, and that's what hit. Of course, back in the 80s, the big C and cancer was a word you didn't use, or you didn't want to hear. And,
it was a very surreal time for you, Doug? Or?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I think you're in a no man's land, if you like, just where your life is and where you're going. I had no idea. I made hasty arrangements to take leave from work to go down to Brisbane. I didn't know how long I'd be away or what was happening. Lynn had to take hasty leave, and we came down to Brisbane. And so I was admitted to a ward overnight. They did some more tests and went through the information that they had from the doctor in Darwin, and they told me that I'd be able to be treated on a daily basis as an outpatient rather than admitted to hospital, which relieved me greatly. I did cry that night. The first night in hospital, or the morning after, I really believed I had been admitted to hospital to die.
Yeah.
But total relief when I was told that it could be treated, and I'd be an outpatient. Doctor approached me because I'd been having in and out of remission, if you like, and he approached me in about 1990, I think. I was diagnosed in 1985. Said there has been a new approach to multiple myeloma in that bone marrow transplants are being considered. They are being done for leukemia patients on a limited basis here in Brisbane, and he asked if I would perhaps be interested in proceeding with a bone marrow transplant, because my only other hope was that I would go into a long-term remission. Otherwise I'd be on continual treatment until such time as that it wasn't effective anymore.
Did you make that decision overnight, or what was?
No, I don't think so. No, I think we took some time. We were allowed some time, and we took some time because we'd been given a list of the risks involved, and at that stage we were told it was quite high risk. So we weighed it all up, and we both agreed that I would have to give it a go. If I wanted to, if I wanted any chance of improving, then I would give it a go. I think my life had become more precious to me, so it is a big moment, I think, to realise that you've then got a choice to prolong that, or just to accept the fact and live a shorter life.
Your sister was your donor. So come transplant, you go into hospital. What was what was that time like for you?
Well, I was anxious, I guess.
Did you have total body irradiation?
I did.
Yes.
Total body irradiation, and I spent the time in isolation. At that stage, it was isolation. I was put in a room by myself. Anything that I took into the room had to be
sterilised.
Sterilised. Anyone who visited my room had to be gowned and masked I couldn't get out of bed on my own unless I wore special slippers. I couldn't touch the floor. So it was total isolation, and that was weird. Although I'm not a real social person, and I like to read. I like to do puzzles, so that I could fill my time in the room on my own.
So you didn't have any troubles with concentration post-transplant?
No.
No.
No. But I thought when I came out and I was still able to talk to people and I was still able to function, I thought, well, I have been lucky. I thought I had been lucky.
So what did you expect? What day did you work? What day were you allowed to be discharged?
Well, I came out of isolation after about 30 days.
So Doug, were you when you were released from hospital? What did you do to get yourself through to the next week and then to the next month? And did you, set yourself goals? Were you weak?
I was weak,
yeah.
Very weak and tired. Again, my family rallied, and I was always a jigsaw person, so they bought some jigsaws. And my brother went out with Lynn one day and came back with a board to do my jigsaws on. I like the 1,000-piece jig, the complicated ones. Evidently, he'd picked up a real estate for sale sign out of a yard somewhere and dislodged the peg and brought it back for me to use on my jigsaw. So, so we did that in the unit. I was in the units at Hurston, the Leukaemia Foundation units at Hurston, and they were very good to Lynn while I was in hospital, and very good for her as well. The people, although there were a lot of people there being treated, and she could see people who weren't as well off as me, I suppose. It was a day-to-day thing, I think. I was virtually up to the hospital every couple of days for checkups and follow-ups and whatever. We used to walk slowly from the lodge to the hospital and back again.
So you set yourself little challenges to gain your strength?
Yes, and I think we started to time ourselves and without pushing ourselves, how long it took us and whether I needed to rest and how many times I needed to rest between there and the hospital and things like that. It was just a day-to-day proposition.
So when it came to the day when the doctor said you can actually go home to Darwin, what was your emotional response around that?
Ecstatic, I think. Once they say you don't need that treatment anymore, that's a blessing. It's just I can get back to some sort of normality, and support from family and everything is the support is great, and the love you feel. I mean, it's just overwhelming at times. You feel coming from them, but I never wanted sympathy, and they didn't really give me sympathy, which was good, or show sympathy. I don't know what they felt in their private lives, but hopefully not sympathy, because to me a cancer is something that anyone can get at any time. It's so prevalent these days, and it probably was so prevalent for many, many years, but in the later years the many different types of cancer has been diagnosed. I happened to get a cancer that was treatable, that wasn't immediately life-threatening, that was diagnosed at a time that I could still have treatment. So, I have been blessed. I've been lucky. I'd say lucky is probably blessed. There's a better word, in a lot of ways.